Dress
ask
code.
many questions.
Dress code.
Oh, dressing?
Yeah.
You like my dress?
I love the
Listen,
way
I tell you something. I was in the bank one day, right? I was in the bank one day. And this guy, I'm dressed, you know, I have my suit and tie, waiting in line.
Don't you normally go
And,
out dressed?
But not always a suit and tie.
Oh, okay. Just
But so
clarification.
this guy says to me, he said, and he was very casual, you know, but you know, business casual. So he says to me, man, you look dressed for success. So guess what I said to him?
What?
And you look like you're successful already. He said, oh, I never thought of that. Never thought of that.
Well, let me ask you a question. Do you dress up because you're a pastor?
No, I tell you why I dress up.
Oh my goodness, here we go.
Let me give you the reason I dress.
All right, give me the reason.
When I get up in the morning, I had my shower, and I'm getting changed, I look in the mirror, and I ask myself, are you good looking, or are you looking good? So I decide, I better look good.
Well, what about the other way around? The good looking.
You decide, because I know what I decide.
Okay, so then fine then. Let me ask you, and I don't feel like you're being interviewed on behalf of all of Jamaica,
No,
but I do have some questions.
I'm Canadian.
Can you not put your arm there? Because that's normally whenever my dad would lash me whenever I asked him something inappropriate, so it's a little bit of a trigger. So here's one question.
Yeah.
I noticed that, and I know that you went to England before you came to Canada,
That's correct.
but I'm sure that there's some connection there, right? So one of the observations that I've made of your people,
No, don't use that term. You remember the last man who used that last election? Well, you people, be careful.
so I heard that sometimes they throw shoes over their shoulders. So the ones that don't throw the shoes over their shoulders, they wear the white socks.
No, well, you see, you have to take the socks off anyhow when you're crossing the river.
So, all right, fine.
But
Forget about
you
the socks.
need to put the shoes over your shoulder so you can walk through the water. Pull your trousers up.
Is that what you used to do?
Yeah, I used to do that.
All right, so second question. And again, you're not on trial for all of Jamaica, just the parish that you come from.
Portland.
Portland. So the other thing that I want to know in terms of dressing to impress, and I wish I would have brought my briefcase today, but why is it that initially as some of your people
I told you, don't talk about
are moving to this country, why do they all have a briefcase? And in every one of the briefcases, it's like rattling around in there. So one day, here's what I did. I was on the train and I and I saw this guy. He came on, he was well dressed, just like you, or well dressed, whatever it is that you said at the beginning. But here's what he did. He opened his briefcase, and you know what was in there? A newspaper and an apple.
And, you know, I don't think it's fair. But you have to have something to carry your apple and your newspaper.
So
Maybe
could-
he didn't bring his books with him. He
Well,
was
what
studying.
about a backpack?
He was studying.
Studying
no,
what?
No, listen.
The
you know-
sports
you know,
section?
you know what a briefcase is?
Okay.
It's a portfolio. And maybe he's a minister with portfolio. If he didn't have one, he'd be a minister without portfolio.
Yeah, but the way that he made that thing click,
Yeah.
I was certain that
He
he
had-
had paperwork in there for Justin Trudeau.
Computers
So
and-
when I saw that it was a newspaper
And an
that
apple.
was 10 years old, I was like,
Oui.
he hasn't
But
read the
that's what
newspaper in a long time.
that's what I call dressing to impress.
So, do you, would you say that somebody that has Blue Jays tube socks, they're dressed up or are they dressed down when they have the black shoes and the suit?
Well, you know, these days socks doesn't matter really. So some people wear socks, some people don't. I mean, if you want to wear Blue Jay socks, you want to show it off, you can. But I don't even care about what it is.
Yeah, but
you
I
can
don't-
wear, look, you see, you have fancy socks. Look at yours. Yeah, look at your socks.
Yeah, but that's because my kids are out of town. So
Oh, you borrowed the
I
socks.
borrowed one of their
Thou
socks.
shalt not steal thy
No, but it's
children's
not
socks.
stealing. I'll wash it and hang it up outside
I
before
hope
they get
you'll
back.
wash it.
So let me ask you this question.
Yeah,
then. As it relates to no socks, I'm challenged with that because again, I've noticed that with some of your people, because they don't wear socks, they have like this blister on the back of their foot, and
Well, serve them right, you know, because shoes must be worn with socks. Why you want to wear? If you have sandals, I can imagine sandals and no socks. But shoes, the reason you have shoes is because they're made to wear. You hear about shoes and socks. You never heard that term? Shoes and socks?
so can I ask you one more question?
There's not too many questions.
So by putting the little band-aid on the heel that's already peeled off, what's that supposed to do?
When they walk, they can walk and kind of limp a little bit, you know. So, but you know, let me tell you something about Jeff. My father told me one time that this guy and his son, they were going for a walk.
Yeah.
Brand new pair of shoes he bought his son. So they're walking along, and he said to his son, the road is rough. Take off your shoes, put them over your shoulder. When we cross the river, you wash your feet and put them on. So as they were walking along, the fella, he broke his big toe. And the big toe started to bleed. The father said, you see, what would have happened to your shoes if you were wearing them?
Listen, okay.
But you see, that's the thing. When you dress, you've got to dress. And you can't just mix and match. You got to dress properly. You got to coordinate. That's the word.
Yeah, but see, the only thing is, look, some of your people.
You and my people are going to be in trouble.
No, because what I see that a lot of people are doing because they like to dress, but they may not have the money behind it, they're leaving the price tag on.
No! You know, I've seen that.
So you
I've
can
actually seen that in
always
church.
tell. You can always tell when somebody's going to be returning their clothes because they don't move quickly.
Yeah, it goes
You
slowly.
can't afford to stretch through the clothes that you have to return.
No. That's a shame, though.
So during this COVID time, I noticed though that there's a lot of people that are not necessarily wearing their size. They call it the Euro cut. How do your people feel about that? Because you know what, I was very surprised. In Jamaica, there's more fitted clothes per capita than anywhere else.
Where do you get your statistics from?
Where the stats were from.
Who made up those?
No, stats. It's like,
You trust the stats?
of course, they're my stats.
Oh, yeah. See, that's your stats, yeah.
So-
because fitted clothes is a thing that's in, right? And I see some of these, these gun mouth, they call them gun mouth. They get narrowed up, right?
What's
And
a gun mouth?
You know the barrel of the gun is narrow? And down there when you
Not
shoot-
if it's sawed off.
Yeah, well, some of it looked like sound out too, because what I told somebody the other day, and I said, listen, you didn't have enough money to buy the shoes to make the trousers to make it go further down, because it's just halfway up. Because you know why? The style is you show the socks. No, I'm not showing any fancy. You can show yours.
Yeah.
You see, they want to show the socks. So
Notice I have my heel up?
yeah. You see, so the trousers have to be halfway up so you can see the socks. And I don't understand because that's the way people want to do it. So
But
that's fine.
what about in those situations where they have the style, but the ankle is dry?
Yeah,
What
okay.
is the recommendation?
Yeah, you see, some
Okay.
people can't afford to buy a little bit of coconut oil. At least
What?
coconut oil. But of course, you can buy moisturizing things and stuff. They even have heel balm and things that they can buy. But some
Okay,
people
hold
don't
on a
even think about
second.
it.
What's heel balm?
Yeah, you balm for your heel. There's a balm in Gilead. There's a balm for the heel too. Yeah, and you
Look,
rub
the
it
other
in.
day I saw this guy, true story. It was at a funeral, and he was only wearing the shoes, no socks, and then the pants. But his ankle was so dry that he started to scratch it,
Oh,
and it looked like a barcode from Chicken Back.
it's his QR code.
All right, look.
There's a time for dressing, though. You would agree that.
Yeah,
There is
sure.
a time for dressing up, and
Sure.
there's a time for dressing down. But sometimes we probably get too stuck up in this dress-up business. You think so?
You know what? I agree with you. Look, and I'll say this, Pastor Lawrence, you have to be one of the best dressers that I've ever met.
What? Come on now, talk to me. Come on, let me see. Yeah.
Hey, talk to me, I talk back. Let's talk money, let's talk facts. So here's the thing. But the only thing that I'm struggling with now these days is when clothing becomes so important that you don't see the person.
That's always been a problem, And I think from our Anglo-sized background, we tend to want to dress up for
Yeah.
special occasions. And I think there's a place for that. But we have to remember that not everybody can afford to dress in a certain
Yeah.
way. I mean, you
Yeah.
can't even afford some of the clothes these days.
Yeah. You know, it's interesting. Even though I see that you have a tie on and I don't have a tie. You know, what happened was years ago, I went to go and visit somebody. And when I arrived in those days, I used to wear a tie, sport coat, khakis. And when I walked in, the husband was not somebody who was like a church person. And he was just in his regular house clothes. And to me, you can dress any way you want to when you're at home. When I saw how taken back he was by how I presented in that moment, I decided in that day that maybe I want to dress more for those who don't know me than for those who actually know me.
Well, you see, I have a problem though. You see, because I noticed that as a black person,
Yeah.
speaking from my experience, I've been in situations where a person will come in
Yeah.
and they'll ask for, and give a particular thing. Two guys came to see me one time. Both of them were Caucasian.
Yeah.
One came first, did his business, he was leaving. And as he was leaving, the other guy was coming to see me because So when I got to the door of the church,
Yeah.
the other guy came. He said to the other guy, "Are you Dr. Lawrence?" The other guy was casual.
Yeah.
He wasn't dressed up, but I was dressed up. But he didn't look to me.
That's right.
But I noticed that when I'm dressed up,
Yeah.
if I go to the bank, if I go
Yeah.
to the shop, if I go anywhere,
Yeah.
there's a difference. People look
Yeah.
at me differently. So sometimes that helps too, because people, there's a stigma. You know,
Yeah,
there's this
yeah.
this misconception people have about how people look and so on. So I try to dress to impress.
Yeah.
But there are times when I dress down to see how people respond.
Well, let me say this to you. Something to consider. Years ago, there's a rapper by the name of Jay-Z.
Jay-Z.
You know who Jay-Z is?
I know the name. I'm not a rapper because I know you rap, but I don't rap.
No, I heard you rap on one of the previous episodes.
Oh, yeah.
Clearly, that's not. One of these days, I'm going to show you on the rewind.
Rewind, yeah.
Jay-Z, this guy, he's
Run
now
the music,
a
Scott.
multi-million-dollar guy. Okay.
yeah.
So what happens is, as he's actually moved up the food chain, how he first
That's
presented.
music, it's not food chain, it's music.
Sure, I mean, dumpling and saltfish, definitely not his food, but I'm hungry, right? So it's on my mind. So when he first comes into the music industry, he's got all the necklaces, the bracelets, the diamonds. You can tell that he's streets. But now that he's really worth real money and legitimate money, and I'm not here to endorse the lifestyle, but he's got legitimate money. Now when you look at that guy, he's wearing regular clothes like some of the corporate people. You know, like some of the most wealthiest people, they just have khakis and a golf shirt on, and yet people still give them the respect that they're due. So I wonder.
Yeah, because I was in a hotel in Kenya one time years ago
Yeah.
with some students, and the hotel the people who were serving us that morning for breakfast.
Yeah.
We asked them, nice hotel, who's the manager?
Yeah.
He said, don't look now, but there's a guy sitting at the back there.
Yeah.
When we looked, you would never believe that that was the owner.
Casual.
Very casual.
Yeah.
I saw him on the street, and if I had not known who he was before,
Yeah.
I'd have thought he was just some street bum.
Yeah.
Right. So when people have, they don't have to impress too much.
Right. And when they don't
and when
have,
they don't have, sometimes
do they
they
impress?
overdo. Yes, they overdo.
And you know what? Maybe here's the point to this overall conversation is that sometimes we have to challenge what dressed up looks
Looks like. Mm-hmm.
And we have to leave some flexibility, especially for this next generation behind, to be able to express themselves so that it allows them to be themselves, but it also doesn't prohibit them from being in some of the spaces
Yes,
that they need to
and
be.
I think
Yeah.
especially in a church context, we have to be accepting. No, I do believe that people need to dress appropriately. You
Yeah.
can't just come in anything.
Yeah.
But if you're casual and look good, and you're not exposing everything,
Yeah.
that's nice. And that goes both for men and women.
Yeah.
Not just because sometimes we pick on the women.
Yeah.
But sometimes
Yeah.
men don't dress up as they should and appropriately. So we need to look at that. But we should accept them as they come to us and say, yeah. And so
Yeah.
people do change as well. They see the style. And my last thing is, I had a lady some years ago who came. I invited her, and she came and she was dressed in her pants suit.
Yeah.
And everybody in church was dressed up.
Yeah.
And she said to me, "Oh, maybe I'm not dressed properly." I said, "No, you're fine."
Yeah,
You
yeah.
know, so come and be. But later on, when she came next time, she decided I'm wearing a business suit.
Right,
So
yeah, yeah.
She did that. So that's okay. But we must be accepting.
So maybe Pastor Lawrence,
Yes, Pastor Anderson.
part of this is understanding where people are and helping them to get to
Get where they need to be. That is the word.
That's the word.